Yesterday in Midtown Manhattan, the CEO of the largest health insurer in the country was assassinated. Now, everyone's trying to figure out what the motive is. The video looks crazy. An assassin walks up, seemingly well planned out. Many people saying this guy's a pro with a suppressed handgun, assassinates the CEO. New information has emerged and the reactions are coming in from the left. And all of this, my friends, is rather terrifying. Now, what we're learning is that this man did not escape on a city bike, as many have claimed. NYPD is saying that's not the case. We're learning that the man was ejecting unspent rounds, cycling manually every time, and that there was writing on the casings of one of these rounds that imply the motivation was insurance companies denying claims. Now, there's two big theories as to the motivation of the assassin. Well, I should say, first, the assassin may just be a hitman. Someone may have hired an assassin. But the motivation behind the assassination may be a loved one whose family member died, be it a father or a child, because the insurance company refused to pay for their medical treatment. Some are saying it might be that his wife is estranged from him. I really doubt that. I don't know. Maybe. They do say that typically in most circumstances, it's someone who knows the victim. But this guy's the CEO of a big company, like one of the biggest. So it's hard to say for sure. It also could be related to this ransomware scam where the company may have lost nearly $1 billion. No one knows for sure. But I will say the words that are written on the round aren't the exact title of the book about the insurance company. So it could be that someone was trying to throw off investigators with motivation. This dude, the assassin, is still at large. Now, with all those details and the true crime element being rather shocking, we can get into those elements as well. We here cover a political show for the most part. And so the scary thing to me, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we've been warning you all about. And I hope you pay attention. To those of you who may be new to this show because you weren't paying attention, but then after the election, you decided to ask questions. Maybe Bill Maher said something that made you think and you were like, maybe I should take a look at what's going on. Maybe AOC said, what podcasts are you listening to? My friends, please. Former Washington Post reporter. I can't even read this quote. She went on Blue Sky, Taylor Lorenz, advocated for more of this, said she wanted more of this. She wants dead CEOs. And then she posted the photo and the name of another healthcare CEO. Yo, this is terrifying stuff. Now, look. They want to play this game in the media where they say everybody in the right's a free speech absolutist. Let me tell you, again, this is for the people who are new to the show. There's no monolith politically, okay? I am not going to agree with every single thing Trump says or every conservative says, but this tends to be how liberals view the world. I am not a free speech absolutist. Some people are. It's not me. I believe that you should be able to express yourself on your political and spiritual beliefs. But I do not believe you should be allowed to publicly direct and create imminent threats. And that being said, Taylor Lorenz here isn't creating necessarily an imminent threat, but one could argue she is. So we'll play that game. I am saying if someone goes on social media and literally says you should do a thing, yeah, we probably have a right to say, hey, you can't do that. In some form, maybe it's we delete those posts and say, knock it off. That crosses the line. Advocating for and directing violent crimes, I believe actually is criminal. The question is, what about what she said? And I understand it's difficult. It's difficult. We don't want to get anywhere near a slippery slope. But I do think we all need to take a good hard look at a former WAPO reporter. This is a mainstream personality who's got hundreds of thousands of followers, if not more, who worked for one of the most prominent publications, well known, who is saying, here's in a series of posts, this liberal leftist journalist, I don't even know if it's fair to say she's leftist. She posts, here's why we're happy it happened. She then posts that she wants more of it. And then she posts the photo of another big healthcare industry CEO. Look, it's tough. I get it. Because a lot of free speech absolutists are going to say she didn't tell anybody to do anything. And I'm going to be like, listen, There's the old story of the king. Oh, won't someone rid me of this priest? And as the story goes, the king he had this annoying priest. He didn't really want anybody to go hurt the guy. And so he lamented to himself, oh, won't someone rid me of this priest? And not expecting anything to happen. But his loyal soldiers overhear him and they say, we will. And they go and they end the life of that priest. And the king was like, I didn't tell them to do it. They just thought that's, man. Now, look, I don't think that's what we're seeing here. I think, and look, I got a series of tweets that are all lined up. I don't think I can even pull them up. This one was removed for violating the rules. One of them calls for harm to Elon Musk. These are leftists outright celebrating, and it's all over Blue Sky where the liberal leftists went. I say this. Let's take a good hard look at what we're willing to tolerate, because perhaps one could argue what Taylor Lorenz did was actually call for the assassination of this woman. Look, man, I get it. I'm worried here about balancing free speech rights and balancing stopping people from organizing assassinations and murder and escalating these situations. Well, let me know what you think. Comment below before we're going to read the news, but comment below. Many of you may be saying like she didn't say anything. She didn't tell anybody to do anything. But this is beyond, oh, won't someone rid me of this priest? If she came out and said, well, you know what? Some of these people, they do bad things, so this is what happens. I'd be like, that's free speech. It's crude, and I think it's gross. But what she said was, here's why people want to do it. Here's why she wants more, and then posted a photo of a woman. I'm outright saying, like, we know what she's telling her followers to do. But you may argue, unless she explicitly states it, fine. Let's have that argument. Because I don't think we tolerate this. Maybe it's not a criminal offense, but this is where I say, I think social media companies have a right to tell you, you are not welcome on this platform. Here's a story from Fox News. We got a lot to break down in this story. They say, former Washington Post reporter Taylor Lorenz wrote several social media posts appearing to celebrate CEO of UnitedHealth Brian Thompson's murder while suggesting other executives should also be targeted. Thompson was shot and killed at close range in Midtown Manhattan Wednesday morning outside the hotel. The suspect remains at large. She said, and people wonder why. Oh, man, I can't read this. This is crazy. So someone posted Blue Cross Blue Shield in Connecticut, New York, and Missouri has declared it will no longer pay for anesthesia for the full length of some surgeries. If the procedure goes over a certain time, anesthesia will not be covered for the duration. And she said, and people wonder why we want, and then she says she says she wants them dead. She says she wants these people to die. And this is only one. Lorenz also posted an image of Blue Cross Blue Shield CEO Kim Keck with a similar article on both Blue Sky and X. She reposted another user who wrote, hypothetically, would it be considered an actionable threat to start emailing other insurance CEOs a simple "you're next"? Yeah, it is. You know, let me explain something to these people. When I was a kid, when I was a teenager, 18, 19, we'd have keggers in Chicago. You guys have been to one? Come on, we're all adults here. It's a big party. They'd rent a warehouse and they'd buy a keg or two, and everybody'd get drunk. Here's the thing. Nobody sold the beer. You'd walk in and I'd be like, how much for the beer? And they go, whoa, whoa, whoa. We don't sell beer, dude. That's illegal. No, we sell red cups. They're $5 each. And we're like, okay, we get it. You're buying a cup. You're not buying beer. Guys, do you think the government is stupid? Okay, all right, bad question. Right. But come on. When the cops show up, they're not going to go, oh, geez, oh, man, you're not selling beer. You're giving it away for free. It's the cups that are $5. You got us. Never happened. Every single time police got involved at these keggers, and then they'd be like, we weren't selling beer. We were selling cups. The judge would be like, my dude, those are words. We are not stupid. You were selling beer. Okay. So when they say things like, you're next, you're not sending two simple, unrelated words. Everyone knows what you're doing, and you will get in trouble. At least I hope. She later seemed to defend the harsh posts, claiming very justified hatred against CEOs for the amount of death and suffering for which they allegedly bear responsibility. People have very justified hatred towards insurance company CEOs because these executives are responsible for an unfathomable amount of death and suffering. No, they aren't. That is not true. And this is what really bothers me. These leftists are psychopaths. Insurance companies may rip you off. Insurance companies can leave you high and dry. Our insurance industry, our healthcare industry is screwed up, no question. But people get sick, okay? It's a natural part of existence. If you pay into insurance and expect to have your treatments covered, that I get. But this is not cut and dry to say it is the fault of an insurance company for not treating you when you have a sickness or an illness. Now perhaps, and people don't like insurance companies. I totally get it. I don't either. But what we need to do, and I say this in regards to everything, to the left or to the right, cultural shift. We can't tolerate these things. It's not an issue of advocating for or allowing people to go out and just kill other people. The founding fathers knew this. It's why we have the Bill of Rights. It's why we have the right to a speedy trial. It's why we had the Nuremberg trials. Because we understood you can't just go round people up and then make claims. You need to prove to people we are on the right side of history. And we don't just say that. Look at what we're doing and look at why they did what they did and what we're going to do about it. These people are psychotic. This woman said he will be shown the same empathy he showed for others every single day. Terrifying. We don't know this guy. Look, I made the point that for all we know, this guy who only became CEO 3 years ago was like, we've got to change this. We cannot be an industry profiting millions and billions of dollars off of denying claims. You don't know that. I'm not saying he's a good dude. I honestly have no idea. But the point is, that's why we don't tolerate this. Because I tell you this, Taylor Lorenz, there are people who think you are evil. There are people who think you are intentionally burning down this country. You are a mainstream media reporter who worked at all of these massive publications and lied. You posted defamatory things about people. I guarantee you there are people right now who are wishing harm upon you. And I hope you stay safe. That is why we can't tolerate this. But as the saying goes, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. That's why we have to say no. Now check this out. Motivations. The meaning of the cryptic message written on bullets assassin used to kill healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. They say, depose, deny, and defend was inscribed on them. And this is somewhat related to a book with a different title. So I wonder, there's a book called Delay, Deny, Defend. Interesting. Why depose, deny, defend? Could this be that the individual in question was saying that they went to court over this or arbitration, and this is what the company had done to them? I wonder this. What if this guy, the assassin, he looks like a pro, right? I'm not going to show the video because I don't like showing graphic things. Sorry, that's just reality. You can find him on these articles. They actually show the assassination. It's crazy. But the man's wearing a mask, a hoodie, a backpack. He walks up with the gun. It's suppressed. He fires, cycles the weapon, fires, cycles, fires. And a lot of people had speculation about why he was cycling the weapon. He's pulling the hammer back to chamber a new round and eject the existing one. First, we heard from people saying it's because the suppressor, there's a lot of people who are saying professionals who want to dampen the sound use a suppressor and then modify it so all of the gas exits out the front of the weapon, so not enough power will cycle the weapon and put in. So this is how semi-automatic works. I mean, most of you know this, but you pull the trigger. It is the recoil of the round being ejected that pulls the hammer back and then cycles another round so you can keep shooting. What many people said was because of the suppressor and modification to make it quieter, it didn't have the power to cycle the weapon. We now believe that's incorrect because what we're seeing is, according to the police, there are unspent rounds that were ejected from the weapon. And this is apparently where they saw the phrase depose, deny, defend written on one of the rounds. That means the weapon was cycling. The police were saying it may have been a malfunction. I don't think so. It appears that he was firing and then cycling the rounds, even if that says one thing. It wasn't an issue of malfunction or suppression. It was a guarantee. What he was doing was trying to have the highest probability of success. The man didn't want to fire a round and then have it malfunction. He didn't care if it did or did not malfunction. He fired, cycle, fire, cycle, even ejecting live rounds, because all he was thinking, in my opinion, he was probably thinking, we're going to get off a handful of shots. You've got however many rounds in the magazine. Doesn't matter if you eject live rounds. Guarantee that it's ready to go. I don't know for sure, but a lot of people have their speculations. Now, you have this book here, Delay, Deny, Defend, Why Insurance Companies Don't Pay Claims and What You Can Do About It. Look, man, I would line this up inherently with the far left, period, no matter what. I don't care if the guy was a Christian. I don't care if he voted for Trump. This is leftist ideology, not right-wing ideology. The right, as we know it, may be angry over insurance companies. For sure, there's a populist movement, but the right doesn't engage in these kinds of tactics. I can already hear all the liberals saying, are you kidding? The right's always violent. When you see a crazy guy with a weapon go somewhere for some like unhinged ideology, we don't really see right-wing instances like this. You don't see like there are, I should say, as the today right is known. I will put it simply. Certainly there are individuals that are more culturally on the right that have engaged in shootings. Yeah. When you are talking about an individual killing the CEO of a health insurance company, there's a reason why it is far leftists celebrating and not conservatives. There are certainly conservatives who are saying like, well, you know, people don't like insurance companies, but it is unquestionably the left right now saying CEO bad. So the motivation here is rooted in a more left mindset. I'm not saying the guy was a leftist. I'm not saying he was an Antifa. I'm saying this type of action more aligns culturally with the worldview of the left and how they treat and view CEOs. What scares me the most about this stuff is you don't know this guy. Don't know what he did. He had kids. He maybe was a bad guy, maybe was a good. We don't know. That's why we have trials. And the left advocating for this stuff, where this goes, man, it gets crazy. It gets scary. Delay, deny, defend. This is the website. It says, do you think your insurance policy has your property protected from life's many mishaps? That those premiums you pay every month guarantee you the help you need when you need it? That your insurance company is a benevolent entity that strives to pay claims fairly and promptly? Think again. Your insurer's main objective is not to protect you. In fact, insurers often try to avoid paying justified claims. Today, the name of the game is delay, deny, defend to improve their profits. Insurance companies delay payment of justified claims, deny payment altogether, and defend their actions by forcing claimants to enter litigation. I'm sure they do, 100%. I know people who work in insurance, adjusters, and you know what I hear? They usually just pay it out. Because I think people need to understand what this is referring to, and not absolutely, but a lot of, is when the claims are large. And that's when it matters most. And that's why you'll hear these stories. Again, I'm not a fan of insurance companies. I think they're smarmy and I think they do this. But I think it's important to consider the overwhelming majority of claims just get paid out. Why? It's cost-benefit analysis. The insurance company is going to look at a slew of claims and they're going to be like, this one's $4,000, this one's $3,000, this one's $5,000. And they're going to go, It's going to cost us way more in litigation to try and argue with that. But what if a house burns down? And now that is more common. And that's $500,000. They're going to go to their lawyers and they're going to say, how much will it cost to fight this and will we win? And the lawyers are going to say, well, we could make the argument that it was their fault that the fire happened, and so we don't have to pay it out. Look, I think it'll cost us $15,000 to go through the first rejection filings and maybe end up in court. If we go that route, I'd say it's a 60% chance we don't have to pay out $500,000. They say, do it. That's what they do if they get the chance. But most claims just get paid out. Man, I can't even show this stuff. What I do want to show you is some of the responses over what this was. Many people have been questioning what the weapon was, and we have this Forgotten Weapons on YouTube. Shout out Forgotten Weapons, and I'm going to play this clip for you. It's a short, but we'll hear what Forgotten Weapons has to say.
Bunch of comments coming through on mostly my Wellrod videos suggesting that Brian Thompson, the CEO of UnitedHealth, who was recently killed in New York City, was in fact killed with a Wellrod or a modern VP9. all of those comments, those theories are in fact pretty conclusively wrong. I've watched that video, the surveillance video myself, and what I'm seeing there is a typical semi-auto pistol with a suppressor that has been set up poorly and has malfunctioned on almost every shot. We see the guy grabbing the slide and yanking it back to clear malfunctions. That may seem like the same sort of motion that's required to cycle a well rod or VP9, but it's not. Having shot a number of well rods and VP9s, it's definitely a different mechanic going on. And looking at that video, the guy is clearly trying to fix a regular semi-auto pistol. He is not shooting a well rod.
So maybe that I defer to this guy. I mean, I'm not an expert on firearms or anything like that. I'm certainly a little bit more than the layman, but not anywhere near as knowledgeable as someone like he would be. And so he's saying it looks like the guy is trying to clear it on every single shot. We see this in the subreddit, talking Forgotten Weapons subreddit. They say if you watch the video clearly isn't a well rod or VP9. This does beg an interesting question, though, something that I hope Americans can answer. The gunman used a suppressed handgun in the shooting. How many murders have there been where the killer used an NFA weapon? It's very interesting. One person says, it seems to be a regular semi-automatic pistol with an ill-fitting suppressor, probably shooting under pressure ammunition. Apparently, the investigators found both spent and unspent rounds on the scene, so he definitely ejected some live rounds. The guy probably practiced and trained with the gun and had trouble cycling, so he decided to cycle it manually during the attack to make sure he could get a consistent number of shots out. I agree with that. Someone said more likely a suppressor without a booster. Interesting. Man, I don't know. This is a wild story. The dude got away. He had a bike nearby. He got on it. He's gone. And what PD's saying, it wasn't a city bike. We don't know where this guy went. Strange. I'll tell you what freaks me out the most, though. I'm not worried about this guy. I mean, sure, if he's a hitman, I mean, it's kind of scary. He's going around doing this stuff. I think he needs to be brought to justice. But I'm not worried he's going to go kill other people in the immediate. If he's a hitman, someone's going to hire him, I guess. What's worrying to me is things like this turn the heat way up. I want to stress to you guys, Taylor Lorenz was a corporate press journalist for mainstream news publications. She only left a few months ago to launch her own independent Substack. She is advocating for and putting out veiled calls to assassinate more people. The left is cheering for it across social media. I hope and I pray that we see accountability, we see law enforcement get well funded, corrected, and these people stop. Here's what I fear. It's escalation. You don't know what the spark in the tinderbox is going to be. Something like this happens, and it may be a lover's tryst, and a hitman was hired, and they try to make it look like it was insurance motivated. That way it throws the investigators off. But some far leftist sees this, some Taylor Lorenz sees this, advocates for more, and next thing you know, we're seeing more attacks on more people. And that can be the snowball rolling down the hill, where you get these crackpot leftists saying like boogaloo time, and we can't tolerate that. I'll wrap it up there. Smash that like button, share the show with everyone you know, become a member over at timcast.com to support our work. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all in the next segment at noon.